Okay, please proceed.
Good afternoon, Chair and members. I want to begin by accepting all committee amendments as proposed in the analysis and thanking the committee staff for the work on this bill. AB 319 holds the power to create a generation of lifesavers. Every year, there are almost 424,000 out-of-hospital cardiac arrests, and sadly to say, only 10% of these victims survive. Effective bystander CPR provided immediately during a cardiac arrest can double or triple a victim's chance of survival, yet only 32% of cardiac victims receive CPR by a bystander. AB 319 would put more lifesavers in the community year after year by ensuring every high school student in California receives hands-only CPR training in a class required for high school graduation, such as PE or health. Hands-only or compression-only CPR is CPR without mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. It is quick and easy to learn and has been proven to be equally as effective as conventional CPR when performed by a bystander. AB 319 provides schools with the flexibility to choose which class to teach CPR and who provides the instruction. To date, 21 other states have passed similar legislation with minimal cost and minimal burden to teachers and school districts. Teaching CPR to our high school students will empower them with the skills needed to respond to an emergency no matter where they are in the community and dramatically increase the chain of survival for cardiac arrest victims. The lives saved by students trained in CPR could be the lives of someone that you love or even you own. I respectfully ask for your aye vote. Today with me is Debbie Wilson, who will share a story with her daughter, Morgan Wilson.
Thank you again. 2 witnesses and 2 minutes per witness. Please proceed.
Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to testify today. My name is Debbie Wilson. Morgan Wilson was my daughter. She would have been a high school senior this year. However, on July 8th, 2014, she collapsed from sudden cardiac arrest. 8 days later, she was pronounced brain dead. My 17-year-old daughter was gone. Morgan did not have to die. She collapsed at tennis practice, though 911 was called and there were several student athletes around her at the time. They did not know what to do. They did not know how to help her. She lay there with no help and no one doing anything. It was painful to listen to the doctors in her hospital room saying, "Why didn't someone do CPR?" The outcome would have been so different if someone had done CPR. She would be with you today. I am here as a mom. I am here for Morgan. I am here for all the lives that could be saved from CPR, asking you to please pass this bill. Students can and are willing to learn CPR. Through the Learn for Morgan Foundation, which we've established, we have worked with Placentia Yorba Linda School District and the American Heart Association to make hands-on CPR as part of our health curriculum. We didn't need to change the curriculum, we just added the hands-on portion, which takes about 30 minutes. Isn't that worth saving someone's life? My daughter was worth it. Learn for Morgan also worked with the school district to raise money to purchase mannequins that the students practice on. Sudden cardiac arrest can happen to anyone. It did us. Let's stop it from happening. Let's save people. Let's save our children. Let's teach them CPR. They could save us. My child was worth everything. I would give anything to have her back. She was funny. I miss her giggle. She was an amazing person, amazing soul. I plead for your eye on this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Next witness.
Thank you. Assemblymember O'Donnell, members of the Education Committee. My name is Richard McAleenan, and I currently serve as Director of Executive Services for the Placentia Yorba Linda Unified School District located in Orange County. I'd like to start by thanking you for giving us this opportunity to speak about such an important bill. As you heard Mrs. Wilson tell her story, it's easy to see why passing this bill is a critical step in the effort to prevent further loss of life. Through our collective efforts, we've established a plan to collectively respond or to effectively respond to any student who goes into sudden cardiac arrest. As a district, we have provided AEDs on all of our school sites. This was done through several years ago following the loss of one of our students after she went into cardiac arrest. We also, as equally important, provided first responders the tools and knowledge they need to respond should a crisis occur. This is critical because in most emergencies on a school campus, the first responders are either adults or students. In our school district, the implementation of hands-on CPR and AED training was a natural fit. All students, as part of a local graduation requirement, are required to take health in the 9th grade. The scope and sequence of the class already includes a unit of instruction on first aid and CPR. The curriculum we are using for the hands-on instruction are CPR Anytime kits, which were purchased from the American Heart Association. The total cost of the kits and the sub-time to train was approximately $11,000 as a startup cost. That is not an annual cost, it's a one-time cost to purchase the equipment. The majority of the cost was donated by our local education foundation and the Learn from Oregon Foundation. The teacher training on how to use the curriculum was provided by the American Heart Association. It was important to us that the training came from experts in CPR education. These efforts put us in the best possible position to respond to an emergency should it occur. Approving AB 319 will go a long way to providing students with the knowledge they need to respond to a crisis situation. Thank you for your consideration of this bill.
Thank you for your testimony. Others in support, please line up over here. And again, please state your name and your affiliation and your position on the bill.
My name is Chelsea Parker. I was Morgan's best friend, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
My name is Lori Stewie, and I also lost my daughter to sudden cardiac arrest, and I support this bill.
My name is Allison Gingold. I'm from Los Angeles as an advocate for the American Heart Association. I am a parent of a survivor of sudden cardiac arrest. He had sudden cardiac arrest at 14, and it was because of early CPR and an AED that was available at the time. He's now a 20-year-old and thriving, and I'm terribly sorry. And it's mandatory that all of us have this for our children to empower them for the adult community. Thank you so much for your time.
My name is Kula Koenig with the American Heart Association, proud sponsor of this bill.
Hello, Heath Wakely, American Red Cross Board of Directors and also CPR instructor. The American Red Cross is co-author of this bill, and we encourage your approval. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Yeli Gavrich on the board of the Sierra Delta chapter of the American Red Cross in support.
Thank you.
My name is Chan Alexander. I'm an EMT for American Medical Response in the Antelope Valley. I have been teaching hands-only CPR to students for the last 3 years at no cost to the school. It has been successful, and I support this bill. It is long overdue.
Thank you.
My name is Brandon Green. I'm a paramedic with American Medical Response in Los Angeles County, and I absolutely support this bill.
Thank you.
My name is Jason Alexander. I'm an EMT with American Medical Response in the Antelope Valley. I support this bill.
Thank you.
Don Hammond, chair of the board of the Orange County portion of the American Heart Association, strongly support this. We can save children, and those children can save adults. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nicole Wertelman on behalf of the Alameda County Board of Supervisors, also in support.
Thank you. Anyone in opposition to this measure? Okay. Hearing none. Questions or comments from committee members? Assemblymember Kim.
I'd like to thank the witnesses that have come before us to share your stories. I am so sorry for your loss, for your daughter. I want you to know that as a mother of 4 kids, one of my daughter, my second daughter, thankfully she is a survivor, but she had to undergo some medical challenges, having 2 brain surgeries. And I also have a mother-in-law who had heart attack in 2008, and now she's relying on AED. And having gone through the CPR training myself, I understand that this could save somebody else's lives. And I'm totally in support of providing the CPR and the use of AED. And I think that as many people, if possible, should be trained, especially in school, areas. And I also want to commend the representative from the Placentia Yorba Linda School District, which is right next to my district. So thank you, and I do frequent the hospital that's in the area as well. I will be supporting the bill today, but I just wanted to raise my concern that, again, it all goes back to local control. And your school district, as I stated, I commend you because your school district, whether this was a state mandate or not, you have taken it up on yourselves to provide that CPR training, and you have done that. And making it available for if something like that happened to your daughter's situation, I know somebody will be there. And unfortunately, my question goes to where was the coach who should have been trained with CPR when your daughter was having the problem? But at the same time, you don't have to answer that. No, serious. You don't have to answer that. But my question and my concern is always, again, there is a difference between state mandate versus doing it at the local level. Right now, your school district does this on your own, and you do that because your school district decided that this will be something that you will do. Now, if this becomes a state mandate, quick question for you. I mean, you will be billing the state for the training hours and all that. That is my big concern. I just wanted to raise.
Is there a question, or just how would we, just a statement? Well, I can tell you, really easy to get behind something like this. The people that we spoke to, as I mentioned, almost 90% of the funds, the one-time upstart costs that we had came from donations, and those donations came from the first two people I asked. And we have a long list of folks, whether it be PTA, local community groups, that would easily have come up with the funds to fund something like this. It's about $2,500 per high school site is the total cost to provide 40 mannequins at the school. $2,500 costs can come from a variety of sources on your school campus, whether it be PTA, ASB, local funds from organizations that are in the community. It's not hard to find the money for something like this. I do recognize that it would be a mandated cost that would be reimbursable, but for most districts, I don't think it would be hard for them to find the funds for something like $2,500 a school site. It's not that expensive.
Thank you. Any further questions from committee members? Seeing none, you'd like to close, Assembly Member?
Well, members, I want to thank you for listening to the stories here. And stories like Morgan happening every day in homes, workplaces, and communities throughout the country and here in the state of California. And with that, I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Okay. We have a motion. The recommendation is support as amended, the committee amendments at the beginning. I'll make the motion. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do pass as amended to appropriations. Please call the roll.
O'Donnell, Chavez?
No.
Chavez, no. Kim?
Aye.
Kim, aye. McCarty?
Aye.
McCarty, aye. Santiago? Thurmond? Weber? It's 2-1.
Okay, it's on call, 2-1. Thank you. Gonzalez, see the bill? Gonzalez is next to the bill?
I supported it. Which one was the bill that we just voted on?
She's just right outside the door.
We're waiting for some members to arrive, so I'm sure the sergeants are calling them. Right? He's busy over on the phone, calling and dialing.
How we doing? Everybody's in somewhere else, trying to get to somewhere else to get to here. Does that make sense?
It was my day yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Mr. Holden, will you please take the seat? And would you AB 252, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Thank you for the opportunity to present Assembly Bill 252 relating to STEM curriculum. I would also like to thank the committee staff for their assistance, and I accept the committee amendments. AB 252 creates a grant program to help school districts meet the costs associated with creating advanced placement courses in the STEM fields. Across the state, minority, female, and lower income students do not have access to those classes. AP courses give students exposure to rigorous college-level work and prepare them for college and career success. Unfortunately, the STEM fields are facing an enormous lack of diversity. According to the National Science Foundation, women only make up a quarter of the workers in the STEM industry, while Hispanic, African American, and other minority ethnics make up less than 12%. AB 252 would create an opportunity for underrepresented students to pursue the flourishing STEM fields by bringing more advanced placement courses to their respective high schools. To testify in support, I have Laura Parra, who represents College Board, and Andrea DeVoe from Technic.
Well, thank you very much. And the rules are that you have two presenters at 2 minutes apiece. Please continue.
Thank you. Laura Parr on behalf of the College Board in strong support of the bill, and would like to thank the author for bringing this measure forward. Each year, the College Board helps more than 7 million students prepare for a successful transition to college through different programs and services, including the SAT and the Advanced Placement Program. And the College Board also serves the education community through research and advocacy on behalf of students, educators, and schools. We are well aware that the STEM jobs play a key role in our nation's economic success, and there is expected to be a 17% increase in the next few years. AB 252 will address a gap in California by identifying the underrepresented students with AP potential without access to AP STEM courses. And for those reasons, we're in strong support.
Good afternoon. My name is Andrea DeVoe, and I am the Executive Director for TechNet, who represents the nation's leading technology companies. We thank Assemblymember Holden for his leadership with AB 252 and are in strong support. The development of world-class talent in the field of STEM is critical to California's national and global leadership. Promoting, encouraging, and fostering an open, diverse, educated community that draws from an array of unique experiences is a necessary step to realizing the maintenance and nurturing of expertise in an industry that is exponentially in need of STEM-trained talent. Supporting a diverse community of students is an essential part of California's strategy to out-innovate, out-educate, and out-build the rest of the world. Access to advanced placement STEM courses for a diverse community of students provide the confidence and essential skills needed to succeed in college and a future career. Exposure to these courses in high school will increase the number of students who move on to study these areas in college and will help lead us to our much-needed diversified workforce. For the reasons stated previously, and for these reasons, we strongly support AB 252. Respectfully ask for your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further witnesses in support? Please state your name, position, and affiliation and position on the bill.
Good afternoon. Erica Romero on behalf of the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities in support.
Good afternoon. Chris Rosa on behalf of Bayer Healthcare and the Pharmaceutical Researchers and Manufacturers of America, PhRMA, in support.
Ron Rapp on behalf of the California Federation of Teachers, speaking in support.
Isabel Garcia, California Teachers Association, in support.
My name's Kat Shuko. I'm an LAUSD Teacher of the Year, and I teach robotics and engineering elective class at the middle school level. I see how hard it is to encourage girls to sign up for my class, and that's in 7th and 8th grade. And I see how hard the students at the high school across the street who do get to take AP courses work to prepare for college. And I strongly support this bill to help our students have more access to quality STEM education, regardless of their demographics. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any persons in opposition to this bill come forward? Seeing no opposition, members of the committee, any members of the committee wish to comment? Seeing no members that wish to comment, Mr. Holden. Oh, Mr. Chavez, wave. Come on, man.
Peripheral vision issues, I think. Mr. Holden, I really like STEM, as you know, but I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Where do you stand with local control funding, and how do you see this working now that we have local control funding?
Well, I think local control funding certainly has proven to be an asset in many respects, but we also recognize that there are a number of schools throughout the state of California, that 90 have been identified, where they're in underserved communities where AP STEM courses are not even offered. And so we recognize that there's a hole there that needs to be filled. And we believe this bill will create an opportunity for us to go outside and try to identify additional resources. We hopefully, through this grant process, will at least start to recognize where the deficiencies are and to try to get resources there, because in those schools, the young people who are tested on their PSAT scores are showing a tremendous propensity to do extremely well in STEM courses. We just have to nurture it and feed it. And certainly, I would be a big advocate for local districts to put resources into these areas of STEM support and funding. But we also know that limited resources, great need, but beyond that, we think we need to do more, and hopefully this is a good pathway to allow us to do that.
But the governor's plan and subsidiary does also recognizes that lower income schools get more money. So the areas you're talking about would already be getting more money than other school districts that have higher income, not the ones you're talking about. So they're already getting additional money, plus they have local control funding. So are we essentially giving them a third grant then?
Well, no, I think what we're really saying is that, and again, I'm supporting local control funding, and I do recognize that additional resources are going into certain areas where there's English as a second language is being taught, where foster youth are certainly impacted. But it's a resource question, I guess, really is the bottom line. And there are limited resources to address all of the needs. And this is an area where certainly the local control funding plan could include funding for AP STEM, but it hasn't. Because there are so many basic fundamental needs of just providing the basic fundamental services. So we're trying to do something above and beyond, and we think it's certainly in those areas, those schools, those K through 12, where AP courses are not even offered. There are some that are, and it will be based on priority. I'll turn to others to see if, yeah.
Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Chavez. Ms. Kim.
Thank you, Mr. Holden, for bringing this very, very important issue forward. I agree with the importance of AP courses in STEM areas, and I hope local districts will prioritize LCFF dollars for this purpose. you know, because I'm a co-author also on one of the legislations that we just passed out of the committees, and to promote, especially women and girls in STEM areas where we really need to promote that in order to have the minorities compete in this area so that they can learn lucrative skills and so forth. And so with that, I will be supporting your bill today, and it sounds like you have a lot of work ahead of you as it moves through the process and in the Appropriations Committee to determine where the funding source is. And with that, I want to let you know that I will be revisiting this issue when it gets to the floor, depending on what the funding structure looks like. But I appreciate your intent and the fine line that you're walking between trying to give access to these critical classes and fields, and especially in minority communities, but within the objective to, again, as I said before, my biggest concern is establishing the categorical program, which the LCFF replaced. But I am very supportive of STEM-related classes, so I will be supporting your bill today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kim. Seeing no further comment from the committee, Mr. Holden, you may close.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the comments. We recognize that we're going to continue to work with TechNet and many in the larger community to try to identify ways of identifying grants that would be outside the general fund that we can propose as we move forward through this process and show that there's support, financial support that could give the additional boost to this program that we think it would deserve. And with that, I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Holden. Do we have a motion? Mr. Santiago, do we have a motion? I'll second it. Madam Secretary, you may call the roll.
The motion is do pass with amendments to the Appropriations Committee. O'Donnell?
Aye.
O'Donnell, aye. Chavez?
No.
Chavez, no. Kim? Kim, aye. McCarty? Santiago? Aye. Santiago, aye. Thurman? Weber? 3-1. It's on call. 3-1.
The bill is on call. Thank you, Mr. Holden.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So we'll now move to AB 491, file item number 4 by Ms. Gonzalez. Again, file item number 4.